we So, Miss Jamie, could you begin roll call, please?
Absolutely. Chairperson, Dr. Cynthia Villa-Gomez.
Present.
Mr. Robert Dura. Mr. William Fulton. Miss Betty Haynes.
Present.
Miss London McKinney. Mr. Donald Scales. Miss Beverly Williams. Miss Sheila Williams.
Present.
Miss Annette Wilson.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jamie. Well, we will put off the approval of minutes until we hopefully have a quorum a little later. So I will move on to my updates. The first is that I had the wonderful blessing and opportunity to attend the last day of the Rooted in Race exhibition that was organized by Triad Cultural Arts. So Ms. Cheryl Harry had a huge role in organizing the whole exhibition and project. The Winston-Salem Foundation and our African American Heritage Initiative committee sponsored the event. It took place at Union Station. And I believe now that the exhibition, the actual physical exhibition might move to a few other places here in town, but there is still the wonderful online material and exhibition. And I think that what we see there obviously will eventually be aligned to AAHI's materials in Digital North Carolina, but it's just such a beautiful presentation. So I believe I shared the website for the online project previously, but I'll make sure to get that back out again. What I would like to stress is that the conversations that took place that day were so uplifting. So we had people representing Justice for Housing Now, I believe, who led the conversation, and there was such an emphasis on just true sort of positive, how we need to move forward as a community, no matter what our ethnic background, to really walk together, walk in love, and find common ground and understanding and work for mutual support. And so I was so inspired and just really proud of particularly some of the young Black women who led those conversations. And so it was just a wonderful event, and it was very well attended. And I believe some of our committee members attended the opening. So again, I will send an email and with the address for the permanent website for the event. A few months ago, I'm moving on to my next update. So a few months ago, I reported to the committee that I was invited by one of the head librarians that arranged public events in Hickory through the Patrick Beaver Memorial Library. And so I was invited to organize and make 2 presentations that are sort of in support of the Hickory Community Theater's upcoming production of Cadillac Crew. So on one afternoon it will be a Saturday in February, early February. I will be speaking on the sort of cover up of Black female contributions and participations to various aspects of the civil rights movement. And I'm also trying to organize for a separate Saturday in February, a panel discussion that would involve some of our local Black experts who have an expertise in Black female playwrights, as well as, of course, Black theater productions. So I'm still working on that, but I will say that, of course, we are all representing AAHI and just trying to spread the love and spread the word about our reparative justice, all the aspects of our reparative justice project. And so we're really ambassadors. And of course, Hickory is really looking at our model and they want to continue to work with us. So anyone who would like to join me, I'll be happy to have a kind of small car, but I'll be happy to either lead a little car caravan of us or drive people on those respective Saturdays. So I'll make sure closer to that time that I give you the dates again. But I'm really excited about that. Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I wanted to jump in because I didn't know if someone may have questions about your first item, because going back to that one, wanted to make sure we afforded some time for questions, because particularly with our new AAHI members, they may be interested in asking some follow-up questions with what you've said. And secondly, I wanted to also mention that, of course, as a part of the Rooted in Race exhibit, AAHI will be collecting things that were gathered during that time, whether it's old photographs, other documentation, so that they could be uploaded to the AAHI portal. And so I just wanted to make sure that we mentioned that. And Jamie, did you want to add anything or clarify what that's all about?
My apologies. I missed the beginning of what you said. So if I repeat what you said, I apologize. I did speak last month at the beginning of November with Miss Harry, and she said that all of their stuff is already digitized. So we will just need to partner with her to go through those. And then we can help with the process of getting it through our portal from what they have digitized. So a lot of it's already on the website that they have, but we should be able to take those documents as well.
Can you define what their stuff means in terms of what types?
Sure. So what you were saying about the scanned documents, scanned photos, and then definitely some of the oral histories and the conversations that were recorded, the videos.
And videos. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jamie.
Yes, thank you, Jamie. And I'm so sorry, Wanda. I was I had my computer opened up to our agenda, so I didn't see your hand. But yes, okay. Instead of me racing through, I think it would be wonderful to have some conversations. And again, I will send the link to the online project, because it's really impressive. So there are many oral histories and photos. There's just a plethora of rich resources there, and visually it looks quite impressive. So I will make sure to share that. But yes, as we wait for our other members to join, this would be a great time to have conversations about either Rooted in Race or our connections with the Hickory community.
And Chair Villagomez, I was thinking too, we're trying to hit multiple things, I guess, before we move on too far in the agenda. Is it possible that we could have brief self-introductions for the benefit of our new AAHI members?
That would be great. Yes. I was hoping we would have more of our people by now, but this would be a great time. So, would you like to start, Ms. Wanda?
Oh, sure. Sure, no problem. My name is Wanda Allen Abraha. I'm the director of the Human Relations, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department with the City of Winston-Salem. We are located in City Hall in Suite 109, and I don't know what the back suite number is. I should know that, but we're kind of like adjoined to another suite, and you will be able to see us all when you come in. And so hopefully you all will have an opportunity to come visit us in City Hall at some point in the near future. We'll talk more about an opportunity that's coming up next week later on the agenda. But anyway, real happy to be the staff liaison with the AAHI committee. And we will have another staff member who will be working with you in the coming days. And we'll talk about that a little bit later too. But also I was going to ask if when you do self-introductions, everyone, if at all possible, would you please turn on your cameras so that everyone can associate names with faces, because we really do want our newer AAHI members to know who we are. And so I'm going to pass it on then to our Assistant Director for Human Relations DEI, Dr. Ronnie Christian.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Ronnie Christian. I am the Assistant Director of Human Relations / Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department. And I am going to pass it over to Elle.
Hello, I'm Eleanor Tebbets. I'm a Human Relations Analyst for the Human Relations DEI Department, primarily work with the non-discrimination ordinances. And I will pass to Frank.
Hey, my name is Frank Elliott. I'm with Marketing and Communications for the city. We are upstairs in Suite 336, and we support your committee by producing advertising, videos, social posts, whatever you need to promote what you're trying to do.
And Frank, can you pass on to the next person and then that person do the same? And
Oh,
so
yeah,
on?
details. Okay, Jamie hasn't had a turn yet. Jamie, you go.
I'm Jamie Waldeck. I'm the Senior Outreach Analyst for the Human Relations, Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Department. And this is my last month of being the temporary secretary for AAHI. As your normal secretary will return next month. So I've enjoyed it though. Happy to help. And I'm going to pass it to Miss Betty Haynes.
Okay, I don't know if I have my camera on or not. I guess you can see me. Well, my name is Betty Haynes. I'm retired from the Department of Revenue of Phoenix, Arizona. I'm originally from Winston-Salem. I was previously director of Minority and Women Business Program for the city of Winston. That's been years ago. And I'm just here trying to learn about what is going on and what I need to do.
Awesome. Thank you, Ms. Haynes. And who would you, and welcome again, who would you like to pass the baton to?
To what's the other young lady that's on here? That's a new member.
Sheila Williams. My name is Sheila Williams.
Okay.
I work at Piedmont Federal. I'm the HMDA compliance specialist here. Actually, I used to be on the Human Relations Commission, and I actually worked in the Human Relations Department. It's been a while, but I used to be there. And I just wanted to get involved and find out exactly what you do, because I really don't know exactly, but I'm very interested in being involved. And I'll just tag it to, I don't know who the next person is that's present.
Okay, we'll help you out. And how about passing it on to our city council member, Annette Scipio?
Oh, yes, I talked to Annette.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry, my computer's messing up. It's just an interesting day today, but I thank and welcome everybody who's here today. I'm not sure where our other committee members are. I tried to contact Mr. Dora because I know he was awake earlier today. But welcome everyone to AAHI. And I hope that as this is December 2022, so now we're looking forward to January and the whole year of 2023. And the pandemic is not raving as it has been over the last several years. So I certainly hope we'll be able to get out into the public a bit more, collect those histories and stories, particularly with those elders who are still living. We do have some that are still living who actually were frontliners. Not many of them, but their stories are very rich. We have quite about 10 90-year-old plus that we need to get. And we also need to get the 80-year-olds and those like Betty and I, who are in our wonderful 70s. But
Thank you, Annette.
time is of the essence for this committee to get those rich stories from the people who actually live them. So I hope that as we look to 2023, we will be very focused and determined to really collect as much about our past history as we can, and then to start collecting stories of today, because 2023 will be history in 2033. And so we don't want to miss getting those real rich stories of today. So I want to say happy holidays to everybody. This is just that season where if you don't feel joyful, call me. I got a piece of cake for you. That will get you no sugar to make you feel real good. And so, but anyway, I want to say thank you for all you've done this year and happy holidays to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Scipio. And of course, you know, you are our secret sauce for AAHI because you are the visionary. And we thank you for even coming up with this concept for city government. And so it's always a treat to have you on these calls and at these meetings. And so we thank you for your guidance and your wisdom as we continue to move forward with all of our AAHI efforts. Thank you so much. So who would you like to pass to?
Oh, let's see. I'm looking, there's Sabrina Stowe. I'll pass it to Sabrina, my little clone.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry, I've been in and out taking calls. I'm not sure what you're passing off to me, Councilmember Scipio.
Just introductions, and if you could just put your video on so people can see what you look like.
Oh, not the video.
Yes.
Okay. I wasn't prepared for that.
Okay, you can stay anonymous. So just introduce yourself.
I'm Sabrina Stowe. I'm the Community Assistance Liaison for the East Ward and for Councilmember Scipio. Been with her now about 1.5 years, and I've been joining in on the calls with you all in the community as the if things come up and people are asking about this type of organization, I do make sure that I let them know what you all do and encourage them to upload their, historical stories, information, clippings, anything that they may have. I do always make sure to make a point to let them know that you all are here and what this group is about. So thank you for just letting me be a part.
Thank you for everything, Sabrina. Thanks for all that you do to support us. Would you like to pass it on to the next person? Do you see the screen and who's up,
Yes.
who hasn't gone?
I'm not sure who hasn't gone. I've been taking some calls and doing some work behind the scenes. Has Jamie gone?
Yep.
Yes, I'll help you out and maybe we can pass it on to Ms. Keisha Red.
All right.
Keisha.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Takesha Red, and I am the Assistant City Attorney for the City of Winston-Salem, assigned to support the AAHI. And I
Thank
have
you, Ms.
no
Red.
idea who else has not gone. I can't see everyone on my screen.
You're fine. Let's pass it to Jackie.
Hi, I'm Jackie Phillips Hayes. I am one of the IS project coordinators. So I work in the information systems department, and we're always here to support AAHI and all of human relations initiatives. And I'll pass it to Tracy Simmons.
How did I know you were going to do that, Jackie? Hi, I am Tracy Simmons. I am the IS department at the City of Winston-Salem. Glad to be here. I play a support role, much like Jackie does. We're not necessarily on the committee, but we support AAHI and try to address all of your technology needs.
Thank you, Tracy. I do believe you were the last one. Has everybody gone? No, Adolfo has not. Have you gone, Adolfo?
No, so I am Adolfo Brasino, and I am in the Human Relations Department. We handle fair housing complaints and landlord-tenant mediations.
Thank you, Adolfo. So sorry once again. Chair Villagomez, I think that's everyone.
Yes, thank you, everybody, for your introductions. And I want to warmly welcome Councilperson Scipio. I didn't have my screen open when you came in. And so, yes, I second everything that Ms. Wanda said. We wouldn't be here without your vision and your tenacity and moving this, creating this project and moving it forward, and your continuing inspiration. You teach us all the time, and you're just such a wonderful griot, a wonderful storyteller, and oral historian, public historian. So I know that sometimes you're not able to join us, so it's just very special to have you here today as we welcome our newest committee members. So thank you so much. Well, as we wait, hopefully, for our other members to join us, if our new members, if Ms. Williams and Ms. Haynes have questions about the first few items that I have discussed, or any general questions about the work of the committee, this might be a good time to just have those conversations. Do either of you ladies have questions or comments?
Could you kind of like elaborate on the events in February that you were discussing?
Yes, ma'am. So we see ourselves as ambassadors for local African American heritage projects. And you might know that this project is the first city-sponsored reparative justice history heritage project in all of our state. So there are some similar projects that have been ongoing, but they're generally sponsored by community groups or often by universities. So I believe now Asheville has a reparative justice sort of project going on, but it's more about actual reparations versus what we are doing here. And so whenever we get the call where we have interest from people from outside who are interested in using what we've organized here and what we're doing as kind of inspiration for what they want to do, we do invite them, and then we try to go where we're invited. So if you have seen how we organize our collection subcommittees into things like neighborhoods and churches and community groups, professionals, etc., the citizens of Hickory have been impressed with the way we essentially define what our cultural heritage areas are. And so, for example, next Juneteenth, they're going to organize their public events according to the categories that we've organized. We also had a young man from Canada join us earlier this year. He was very impressed with our project, and I don't believe we've heard back from him, but he was very interested in sort of replicating what we do. So I try to respond and go wherever I'm called. And I always invite committee members to join me in attending events or even in participating in events. So if you want to come with me, Miss Williams, I'll pick you up.
Okay.
And we can go together.
All right, that sounds good.
Ms. Haynes, do you have any questions?
No, I'm just trying to listen and basically find out what the AAHI is all about and how I need to get involved. So I'm just listening right now.
Thank you, Ms. Haynes. Well, I will share a story and sort of use that as the introduction to the important information. So you ladies might be amused that when I showed up for my first day, thinking that I would just kind of be back in my little corner on Zoom and listen and learn. Well, I don't remember who it was. It might have been Ms. Johnson, might have been Ms. Penn or Ms. Wilson. Somebody nominated me to take over the position of executive chair. That we did not see that coming, right? Councilperson Scipio, we did not see that coming. But I was nominated and then unanimously elected to take over to work with, of course, Councilperson Scipio and Wanda. And so it's really changed my life. It's been one of the hugest blessings of my life. But I had a wonderful introduction to the project, Ms. Jane Penn, as well as Councilperson Scipio. We met down in City Hall and had a lovely lunch, and Councilperson Scipio shared resources, all kinds of beautiful things with us, calendars and a list of communities. So as Wanda had said, that Councilperson Scipio had done a lot of work behind the scenes. And so she's really laid out, the types of things we can look at, the various groups for every category of our collection that we could think about. And so I want to make sure that we bring you into the fold, into this wonderful committee in the same way. So I will work with Wanda and Councilperson Scipio. It might be that we could schedule a Zoom or maybe another meeting down at City Hall. But what I will do is share with you ladies our wonderful website. So we actually have 3, maybe 4 pages, internet pages devoted to AAHI. And I want to thank the people here on this Zoom call who actually did that technical work. And you will be impressed, ladies, with what is there. But it really, everything there lays out what our vision is, what our mission is, and our short and long-term work that we have really been called by the city to accomplish. Maybe one of the most important things, and I will note this when I reach out to you, is that we need to replace vacancies on the subcommittees. So when I send those web pages out, you'll be able to see. But Councilperson Scipio, I think you want to make a few comments, so please.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I am. I just had a question to the staff. Did we prepare that notebook for our two committee members, our two new committee members? Remember, like we had that first notebook that had background information, et cetera.
Yes, that information is being prepared now, Councilmember Scipio, so that our new members will be able to retrieve those from City Hall at their convenience.
Oh, okay, that was the key, because that would give them a lot of background information. And Chairman Villagomez, you did mention that they would be taking over one of those chairs. So submit to Ms. Betty and Ms. Sheila, every committee member chairs a section of research to look into. And so we have openings for, I think Ms. Johnson had government, and I want to say Ms. Penn had education. I'm not sure. No, was that right? Okay, she had education. But it may be that Chair Villagomez, that we might want to reconvene everyone and see if people might want to do a different topic area than what they originally chose or were assigned to. Because I know some people have a little more passion in some of those areas than the ones that they were given. So I think that might be very helpful to sort of have that discussion about those assignments. And I would say that for Betty and Sheila, this is going to be a labor of love, but we do want all of your wonderful insights and your ideas about how do we get more of our community engaged to share their personal histories with us, and to document it by putting it in our database. And the database is a public database. So if people don't want their names out there with connected to what they may have done, we can understand that, but we really want to convince them to document their history, their personal histories. And Betty, I know you've had a very rich one, because I also know Ms. Haynes was also one of the first employees of Mechanics and Farmers Bank when it opened here. And so the history of that bank in Winston-Salem needs to be documented as well and placed in our public database. So the thing about our public database is that we have been so fortunate that when people make submissions through our city website, it will go to, okay, help me, I just went to a mental blank, Digital North Carolina, which is the state database. And that's how big it's going to be. It will go to the state. So people will be able to retrieve and research on the big database that the state has, and our people will be there too, so that they'll be in the big search and the research of things. So, we just want people to tell their stories, to give us pictures, just talk about the way it was, because it's not that way today. So many places don't exist anymore in our African American community. And but we need to get those histories. We need to encourage people to write their histories. One of the things that I'm doing now is my church has decided to write its history, and it's 95 years old, and St. Peter's World Outreach that started as St. Peter's Church of God Apostolic. And so it's a huge project that we're undertaking to get people's stories, to find pictures, and get the families and get their part of the story. And so, if we can encourage the institutions to do that are still existing, that's major. But so many institutions no longer exist. So one of the things I'm going to be doing, I'm going to send to everybody on the committee the original list of organizations, churches, et cetera, that I had put together, because I need to know who knows something about those institutions and organizations. And I want to support each team in collecting those histories. And I know the people on this committee, and I know you're connected in many different ways. So I just want to make sure we all have an opportunity to help each other. So that will be what you'll probably be getting next week for me, so that we can start sending out and getting that data back and getting those stories back, because that's really important. And Christmas is a good time because people are coming home for holiday, and we want them to capture their stories at their family gatherings. They are very valuable too. So anyhow, just want to say that. Thank you again.
Thank you, Councilperson Scipio. And I also want to just reiterate our enthusiasm for having you ladies join us, because of course your new energy, your enthusiasm, your creativity, your connections are really going to help elevate this project. And we are really looking forward to working with you. So as I said earlier, I'm here, and I will always try to be there for you if you want to organize events or meetings with people, or if you think that my WSSU history interns could be of service to you in carrying out your project, and that those are some other options, some other areas of support. I also want to commend Councilperson Scipio for initiating this writing of your church history. I am primarily a church historian, and so I just think that's wonderful. And one of the areas of research and writing we've initiated now this semester at Winston-Salem State for the project is to be looking at the role of the AME Zion Church, inspiring the Reverend Dr. Simon Green Atkins in not only establishing Slater Academy, but also in just his vision for what the economic profile and economic development should be for African Americans in earlier history. And so I've just been so blessed and fascinated by the AME Zion evidence, and so we are just eager to move forward with that. So ladies, if you love to write and research, you have many teams that, or at least a few teams that you could join. So, so keep us posted if you have an interest in that area or in starting up a new research project. But we have Mr. Dura, I believe. Didn't he join? I thought I saw. Yes, he is here with us. So welcome, Mr. Dura. It's wonderful to see you. And we would love for you to introduce yourself to our two new committee members, Ms. Sheila Williams and Ms. Betty Haynes. You're muted, Mr. Dura.
What happened? You're still muted, Mr. Dora.
Yeah, how about now?
Okay, you're fine.
So, well, I'm Robert Dura. I grew up in Winston-Salem for the most part. Went to Duke University and then joined the Air Force. And I was a nuclear missile launch officer in the U.S. Air Force. And did that for 4 years, 5 months, and 22 days. Don't be impressed. They tell you that on your way out. And I decided that there was something I should remember about being in the Air Force, and that was it. In my most recent past, I was a high school principal in Chicago, Illinois. And that was kind of interesting too. And then I came back to Winston-Salem in the early 2000s. My parents were getting older, and it was getting harder and harder to sort of make sure things were okay from a distance. And so I moved back to Winston-Salem. And so I've been here since probably around 2002 or 2003. And I'm retired. And if any of you know what the next lottery numbers are that are going to hit, let me know so I can share in the pot. And that's kind of it. I've got an interest in St. Benedict the Moore School, which was at, I think, 1208 Hattie Avenue. And I have a contact who was a teacher there when I was in first grade. We keep in touch. And I'm going to use her as a resource and some other folks to try to put something down on paper about the advent of the St. Benedict School. And that's kind of a lot of things. And if you have questions, I'm available.
Thank you, Mr. Dura. And ladies, Mr. Dura and I actually came in together. So, and he's a historian as well. He studied ancient history, which is the hardest history probably at the University of Chicago, which is the best place in the country to study ancient history. So I love that he has that training as a historian, and he can appreciate my weird love of historical facts and details. And we also have Miss Annette Wilson on the call. So she has joined us. Miss Wilson, if you could introduce yourself to our two new committee members, Miss Betty Haynes and Miss Sheila Williams, and also talk about your role as a liaison with the committee for the local historical markers. That would be wonderful.
Good afternoon. I'm just now leaving work and I am in my vehicle, so I hope you can hear me okay. I'm Annette Wilson. I'm a native of Winston-Salem and delighted to be a part of this committee. I have been on it since its inception, so I do feel very, very honored to have been included. I grew up in East Winston in the community and graduated from Atkins High School, being part of the last graduating class, which is one thing that I'm very proud of, the class of 1971. My main interest as it relates to the committee is working with finding out about organizations, other organizations in the community that have a basically historically Black membership. I was selected to represent the committee to serve on the historical resources and markers committee, and that was very interesting as the presentations were given last month at our meeting. I believe they meet quarterly, and it was interesting to learn about different historical sites within the community, including the Catholic Church that Mr. Durr just mentioned. They were one of the entities that presented to get a historical marker. So that definitely was very informative, and there's a lot of rich heritage as you just look at locations within our city. And I welcome you to the committee. I know Ms. Haynes, and so I'm just glad to have you join us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Annette. And we do need to move along. I believe some people may need to leave at 3, but I did want to quickly note that with our alignment now with the Historical Marker Committee, that they are keeping us aware of any events. And so we are going to try to use those opportunities and have as many of our committee members go out and meet, because a lot of our elders go to those marker unveilings. And so that's a kind of new way, we hope, as we move into the new year, to get out there and meet people in the community. So, and thank you again, Ms. Wilson, for your work on that committee and keeping us up to date. So I believe we have a quorum now, am I correct? So we could go back and approve the November minutes. So could I have a call, a motion to approve our November committee meeting minutes?
I make a motion to approve our November committee meeting minutes.
Thank you. Could someone second?
I second it.
Thank you, Mr. Dura. Ms. Jamie, could you call for the vote?
Sure. Chairperson, Dr. Cynthia Villagomez.
Approve.
Mr. Robert Dura.
Approve.
Miss Betty Haynes.
Well, I wasn't on the committee back in November, so I don't really think I should vote. I mean,
without Ms. Haynes' vote, Chair Villagomez, you will not have a quorum. So
okay.
I will.
I can vote. I just wasn't on the committee at the time, and I didn't think it might be proper for me to vote on something that I didn't have anything to do with, but I can vote.
Chair Villagomez, what's your pleasure?
Thank you. I believe, Ms. Haynes, that I voted to approve the minutes for the meeting that immediately preceded when I joined. So I appreciate your integrity. It's completely up to you, whatever you feel comfortable doing.
Well, you won't have a quorum if I don't vote. So I'll vote yes. Okay.
Thank you.
Miss Sheila Williams.
Approve.
And Miss Annette Wilson.
Approve.
Thank you, everyone. So our November minutes are approved. So I will move quickly into, I'm just going to race through my final report so that Wanda can give her report. So we have a number of new interns that will be joining next year for the spring semester, and I know they'll be working with our city staff along with me and Dr. Donna Benson, but again, hopefully working closely with with all of our committee members. And one of the things we are going to complete is the project, the application to the North Carolina African American Heritage Commission to request a marker for our wonderful Reverend Dr. Kenneth R. Williams. So we started that before. I actually attended a face-to-face meeting in Charlotte last month and got some updates about the best ways to complete that project. I can talk about that next month. And again, I believe Councilperson Scipio just was encouraging us to get out there and collect the oral histories, and I was going to encourage everyone on that as well. And then finally, we have an invitation for everyone on the committee to join me at City Council meeting downtown next Tuesday, I believe at 7 p.m. So we have been asked to give our annual report. Miss Wanda wrote the report beautifully. It's an absolutely beautiful report that I hope we can share with the committee soon, but we will be using that as our sort of script, so to speak, in summarizing our accomplishments in the past year. So this is an open invitation. I will be speaking, but if we would love to have at least one other person join us. So is there anyone who would care to speak along with me to report to City Council next Tuesday evening?
I have a correction for you.
Okay. Yes.
That will not happen.
Oh, okay.
Our City Council will not have a meeting, another meeting in December. We do have our committee reports. Now, is that where it's going to be, Wanda, at the COG committee report?
Okay.
And that will be at 4:30 in the afternoon.
4:30. Okay.
Not at 7.
Councilperson Scipio, is that open to the public or?
Oh, yes.
It is. Okay.
Yeah, all our meetings are open to the public.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. So that will be
next Tuesday at 4:30.
At 4:30. So would anybody like to join me?
If the meeting is at 4:30, I would be able to go.
Excellent. Excellent, Ms. Wilson. Thank you very much. I think the City Council will be very happy to hear about your work as the liaison between the two committees. So thank you very much. All right, well, I am finished with my update, so we can move on to our director's updates.
Thank you, Chair Villa-Gomez. Councilmember Scipio, were you about to add something else a minute ago?
No, that was it.
Okay, wanted to make sure. Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. You and I were thinking the same thing at the same time.
Okay.
So thank you. Okay, so actually, my comments will be brief. The AAHI vacancies update, you all have already met two of our new members, which is really wonderful. There is a third appointee who tried to make it today, but her schedule at the last minute did not allow her to do so. So she's hoping to join us for the next meeting. And so we do have that third appointee. So I think that fills all the seats, right, Councilmember Scipio and Chair Villa-Gomez? I think that was all the vacant. Right. Okay, awesome. Thank you. And thank you for expediting that, Councilperson Scipio. We appreciate that. Thank you. And so with that being said, I also wanted to mention that we will be bringing on a new staff member who will begin on January the 9th. And she is a WSSU graduate, and we are planning for her. I saw that, Chair Villa-Gomez, even though I'm a proud Eagle, I saw that. But anyway, we anticipate that she will be able to work with each of you in her capacity as our NDO outreach person. We do think that having her work with the AAHI would be a great fit because, of course, race is one of the protected classes of persons under NDO, but more importantly, her role is specifically on outreach. And so we will have her to work with you all in the various capacities that have already been discussed when we're talking about meetings or some outreach efforts out in the community that were mentioned a little bit ago, all of the above. We're hoping to have her to be intimately involved with the AAHI from that perspective. And so she, again, will not begin until January the 9th. Another thing I wanted to mention is the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Young Dreamers Award. I want to put in a plug for that. This is an annual set of awards that we give to 2 people from the community. They must reside in Winston-Salem and they must be between the ages of 18 and 40. We are looking for persons in the community who exemplify the qualities that Dr. King not only embodied, but he also encouraged and espoused to everyone throughout the world, actually. So we want to see people nominated who have really done good things for the community. Maybe they have a heart for the community and they've gone above and beyond their call of duty to try to give back in some capacity. We're not looking for people who are in leadership positions, i.e. CEOs and directors and people like that. We're looking for people who actually tend to be more behind the scenes, our unsung heroes. And so if you all know of those between the ages of 18 and 40 who reside in Winston-Salem, would you please nominate them? And Jamie, could you speak more specifically about the nominations process and our deadline?
Sure. The nominations are, it is an online process. So it is up on our city website and our City of Winston-Salem Human Relations DEI Department website. And that we would like to have them in by the 12th, which is next Wednesday.
If at all possible, pretty please, because these 2 awardees will be recognized formally by the mayor and the rest of the city council at their meeting that is closest to Dr. MLK's holiday. And I don't have that date in front of me, but that will be when they will be recognized, as they are every year at the city council meeting. They'll actually receive their awards and we'll take pictures and we'll hear from them. They'll make a few remarks there to the city council that night. So just wanted to mention that. And the last thing is our department will be hosting a Black History Month program, which is an annual program that's called Showcase of Song. And the goal for Showcase of Song is to show that link between the African diaspora and modern day music. So it's kind of a unique way of celebrating that link. And what we do is we really put a heavy emphasis on gospel. We put a very heavy emphasis on the hymnals that a lot of us know so well, those spirituals and things like that, spoken word, poetry. It's really, really an artsy and creative way of celebrating those links. And so we really would encourage you all, if you know of any choirs who would be available to sing at Showcase of Song, please let us know. Please let us know, because we really are looking particularly for those traditional choirs to sing some of those old hymnals, those old spirituals, so that we can talk about how the beats and the rhythms and the drumming had coded messaging in them. And I know I'm talking to the choir with a couple of you, because y'all know better than I do, Chair Villagomez and Mr. Robert. I know y'all know better than I do. So we're wanting to show those links and teach our younger people exactly how music got to where it is today. A lot of their music and those beats that they like so much were rooted in those gospel roots. They came from those origins, those African origins, those rhythmic drums and so on. So we just want to be able to teach and show that. And it'll be a lot of fun. It always is. But we are looking for performers, particularly for choirs. So I wanted to put a plug in for that. And Jamie, can you share the date with that, for that, please? Do you have the date?
Yes, the tentative date on that is February 18th.
Saturday, February 18th,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And we will provide more details as that date draws near, but we wanted to give you all the heads up, and we will send you a save the date as well via email. I'm sorry, Councilmember Scipio, I just saw your hand.
Yeah, I just wondered if you had a good resource would be the Twin City Choristers, the all-male group. They may be able to sing since it's in February, and their director is Ms. Rochelle Joyner, who's an accomplished musician, but also a music professor. So I would like to recommend her to you guys as you put that together, particularly as you want to incorporate the meaning and significance of music and what it meant, that she might be very willing to have a choristers come and sing.
That would be awesome. Thank you, Councilmember Scipio. I know we've had them in the past, and we would love to have them in February. And we're also looking for anyone who may be able to help narrate in between the different performances, because we want somebody to talk about those connections. You know, what did it mean when they were drumming? What kind of messaging was shared? What kind of hidden messaging was incorporated into some of the sermons and some of the church gatherings, especially during times of slavery when people weren't necessarily allowed to gather and worship. And how did they get around that? And what did that look like? You know, so we would like to have someone who could be there to help narrate that in between the performances. And so we're wide open to that too, for these historians who are on. We would really appreciate your guidance, and we would appreciate your assistance with planning the program. Oh, Frank, I just saw your hand.
Yeah, Wanda, are you leaning towards having it in person this year, or are you going to do virtual again?
We're hoping for in person, Frank.
Where would it be?
And you have a venue in mind yet? Just trying to clue in my production guys.
Thank you. We used to always have it at Old Salem, and that was back when Cheryl worked there. And we want to go back to Old Salem. If anybody has any connections to Old Salem, we would like to have it there, because that large space that they have was the perfect size. They have the organ, you know, with the big pipes and all of that. All of that is right there on the stage. And
That's at the visitor center. You're talking about the visitor center. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, thank you for that clarification. That's what I meant. And so if anyone has any connections there, we would love to partner with them again. And hopefully somebody from Old Salem will even see this or hear this. We would love to partner with them again, because it was really an ideal location. In the past, they would even bring groups from some of the senior centers and facilities to come and listen. They would bus them over, and sometimes they would even bus youth groups over, and they would be in the audience along with members of the general public just to listen and enjoy. So that's what we're looking to get back to, hopefully in February, provided that we don't have any major COVID surges going on.
Wanda, being that WSSU is the formal cultural heritage sponsor of AAHI, if we can't get a place in Old Salem, I might be able to get something, at the Anderson Center, which of course has beautiful acoustics and there's ample parking there, but we would probably need to get that scheduled ASAP. But I also was thinking, depending on how much time we have, this could be a wonderful time to collect oral histories, particularly as I represent the arts and Mr. Dura represents churches, I believe. Are you doing churches, or is that Mr. Fulton?
That was Mr. Fulton, I think. No, who did the churches?
That was Mr. Scales, wasn't it?
Mr. Scales.
Mr. Scales, okay. So well, I can do both. Maybe Mr. Dura can help me, but we might think about trying to also arrange after the performances, at least use that time to make those connections with people. If we have elders that are performing, I think that would be a great opportunity, but that's very exciting. And of course, as a history professor, I love lecturing. So I would be happy to either help write the presentations, or if no, I would prefer to have somebody else present. But if no one else wants to do those in between little mini lectures, then I'll be happy to do that.
Thank you so much. And Chair Villa-Gomez, that's why I brought it up and had it on the agenda for today, because I was hoping you all would say exactly what you said, which is that it would be a great opportunity to do collections. Because hopefully AAH, I'm sorry?
Oh, no, I was thinking you were going somewhere else. I was going to say that Councilperson Scipio is a wonderful church historian herself. So I would love to see her do the lectures, but
I will tell you this, I think it's a great idea, but the February the 18th, the Anderson Center will be occupied. There is an event that is coming up, and I'll tell you this because it's HBCU Smart Cities Challenge. Okay. So there's going to be, there's a group that has convened HBCU student teams to create technology applications. And so HBCUs around the country are part of it. And Winston-Salem submitted 4 problem statements. And so there are about 5 teams working on an app for the city of Winston-Salem. And because of that, they're going to be convening in Winston-Salem for the finale, which will also be pitching their apps to tech companies and getting prizes and stuff. And it's going to be that weekend of the 18th. And the big thing is going to be I believe it's going to be at the Anderson Center all day that Saturday, even to the evening. Has a big dinner in the evening. So I don't know the time for your concert that you're talking about. And
we usually do it around noon, Councilmember Scipio.
Yeah. So that would be a conflict with that particular event at Winston-Salem State.
Thank you. Thank you.
We do have K.R. Williams Auditorium and the Reeves Center. There's a big space where we can put chairs, but I'm not sure their availability. So I can work with our department secretary and look into that as still possible alternatives if we can't get our number one choice, which would be the spot in Old Salem.
Thank you. That would be phenomenal. We greatly appreciate it. And we'll just keep in communication about the venue. So thank y'all so much. We do need your support and input. So thank you. Oh, Miss Annette, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if that weekend was fixed.
No, not necessarily. We could flex on it. We haven't put anything out on it yet.
Okay. I don't like having conflicting events that I have to go to.
I know.
I don't want to be torn.
You're right. Okay. Yeah, we do have to think about that because I think it would be, we need to have you there. We need to have you there, Councilmember Scipio. So maybe we'll look at another Saturday, maybe the Saturday preceding that Saturday, if that was a better one for you. I think it would be worth changing to the 11th.
So I will be in Hickory on the 11th, but again, I don't need to be there on when this takes place.
Maybe the one afterwards.
The one afterwards, the 25th.
That's CIAA, I do believe, but everybody doesn't go to that.
That's true.
Yeah, we'll just have to look at the calendar.
Okay. We'll look at the 25th then, because we need for you both to be there if at all possible.
So Ms. Wanda, have you finished your report? I have another thing I need to make a request.
I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, so I do have a big request of this committee because the history, I think I've told you this. 186 years ago, 17 slaves were freed and sent back to Liberia from Old Salem. And they were in the Happy Hill community on the Schumann plantation. So that was the very first, 186 years, it was 1836 before the Civil War. So we had liberations in our city before the Civil War. The Liberian Association of the Piedmont is planning for October 2023 a celebration of liberation. We're calling it International Liberation Day. And they will have a gala. They will also have, that will be on a Saturday. And they will also have an economic development forum on Friday. I would very much like someone from your committee to help serve on the planning team, just to be connected to that. It's becoming a very significant event that will happen. The scope is international. Just so you know, because we're connecting Liberia with Winston in a major way. Still planning on it, but I didn't know if anybody on your committee would want to be part of that steering committee. It would be an exciting venture for whomever would like to serve. I would like for someone to serve, but if nobody doesn't, that's okay. I just think presence on the committee would just help. We're convening people all across town to be part of putting together the whole event.
Thank you for that.
Mr. Dara, are you volunteering?
Almost.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Okay, so Dr. Villa-Gomez, I would be willing to read anything that somebody else wrote about for the event that's coming up.
Okay.
And you can do that. And then I'd like to participate on this committee for when is that date, Councilwoman Scipio?
The Liberian celebration, the liberation celebration will be October of 2023.
Right. I could serve in some capacity there.
Well, thank you. I'll put you on the committee.
Okay, good.
Thank you,
That's it.
Mr. Dura. It's wonderful that you're going to serve again. So we have our different members making connections to different groups across our community, and that is really wonderful.
Yes. Thank you.
Really wonderful. Yeah. So Ms. Wanda, do we need to move into our staff reports and updates?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, if anyone from city staff has any updates, beginning with marketing and communications.
We really don't have anything right now. We continue to have the plug for the AAHI on the message on hold. When people call into CityLink, that's one of the messages they hear, is reminding people this thing exists and to please contribute and participate.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, I believe in the interest of time, we probably need to pass on our short 2-minute stories, but we need to discuss our January meeting. So the official date would be January 4th. But in conversation with Wanda, we agreed that it would be ideal if we could postpone by 1 week and meet on Wednesday, January 11th, I believe, at our regular 2 p.m. time. And that way we would have the opportunity to meet our new staff member that will be joining. And I think it would be great for us to wait, but we really need to vote on this. So if it's your pleasure, if someone would move that we would just for January move our date from the first Wednesday to the second Wednesday of the month.
Chair Villa-Gomez, before you entertain that motion, we did skip
Yes.
an item, and that was for any IS updates from the city staff.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So I don't know if there were any, but I did want to give Miss Jackie Phillips Hayes and also Tracy, if y'all have any updates or anything that you'd like to share on behalf of IS, that would be awesome.
We had previously met our goals of getting the online archive set up and ready with the digital North Carolina. So that is working and up and running. If you look back through our chat, you can see that we have added the link to the form to submit those. If you need a copy of that new link or would like to share that with anybody, that would be really great. It's also on our website. But, you know, those different submissions keep trickling in. And hopefully that'll continue and we can continue to get everything posted on the North Carolina Digital NC website. And we do have our link through Wake Forest or Winston-Salem State University, I'm sorry, through them. So we've worked with them and we still appreciate that partnership. But we're here and ready to serve and help any way that we can for any other future endeavors that you guys have that we can help with.
Thank you so much, Jackie. Thank you. Tracy, were you going to mention something too?
Yes, the only thing I wanted to add is that Tom Korekska, our CIO for the Information Systems Department, is partnering with Councilmember Scipio for the HBCU student team. So we're very proud of Tom being a part of that. So, and look forward to see what big things come out of that. So I just wanted to share that with the team.
Thank you, Tracy. That's exciting. Good for Tom. And I think that concludes the city updates. Chair Villa-Gomez, I don't think we had any others.
Thank you, Miss Wanda. And I am so sorry I jumped ahead. My husband is over at Wake Forest Baptist and getting a last minute medical procedure. And so I have to run over and get him soon. So I'm rushing a little, but we need to take care of business. So we need to figure out when we want to meet in January. So again, we almost always meet the first Wednesday of every month, but it would be to our benefit if we could postpone to the second Wednesday in January, so we would be able to meet our incoming staff member. So do we need to discuss that?
Make a motion that we move our meeting for January to the second Wednesday.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Would someone second?
I second.
Thank you, Ms. Haynes. Then we are ready to take our vote. Ms. Jamie, could you call for the vote, please?
Chairperson Dr. Cynthia Villa-Gomez.
Approve.
Mr. Robert Dura.
Approve.
Miss Betty Haynes.
Approve.
Miss Sheila Williams.
Approve.
And Miss Annette Wilson.
Approve.
Thank you, everyone. So we will meet in January on the second Wednesday. Thank you very much. Well, I believe that concludes all that was on our agenda. So I want to thank you all again for coming, and again, warmest welcome to our newest committee members. Please take good care, everyone, and have a wonderful, wonderful, blessed holiday coming up. So take good care, and I will be reaching out to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.